You're all set, Jim.
Hi, Kevin.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we're all set.
Is Tom, I still see that, was he struggling to get hooked up or is he there?
He said he's working on it.
All right, well, while he works on it, I think we can just do a roll call. And I think somewhat to my surprise, I received a call this morning and Jim Hardy feels for some personal reasons that he's going to resign effective immediately from the board. And I think it's appropriate for us to send him some kind of letter of thanks. And I know Jim has done this before, so I will leave that in his capable hands. And we're going to miss him. Okay. All right. And you also said, as far as board members, myself, Mark Dadd, Doug Burwanger, Rebecca Ryan, Tom McCormick, and Joe Gaselski are here. Also in attendance is our executive director, James Pierce. Robin, I can never do justice to your last name. Where's Robin? Anyway, Robin and Jennifer, and our counsel, Kevin Zahner. And I think that is our total attendance today.
Yes, I did receive a call, Mr. Chairman, from Jim Matowski, who was not able to join us today for reasons I guess everyone can guess.
Yeah. Okay, let us proceed. Our first order of business is to review the board minutes from the February 11th meeting. I think these were all furnished to us in advance. And does anybody have any additions or corrections or any discussion about the board minutes as presented?
I move them as written.
I'm sorry, Joe?
I move the minutes as written.
Could you speak a little bit more into the mic? I'm not picking you up.
I make the motion to remove the.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Does anyone oppose the motion? Hearing none, the motion is carried. We'll go through the same procedure with a financial report, but I'll ask Robin to highlight anything that she thinks we should be aware of. That's also been furnished to us in advance.
Thank you, Chairman. Note that under other receipts this month, you'll see the Sheldon Wind Farm and the Stony Creek energy pilot payments came in. Other than that, we have our typical monthly expenses, and we did not pay out the pilots yet. They will be paid out in March due to the fact that they came in the very last day of the month. So we will have them paid out in March. You'll see that reflected on March's financials. And we currently end the month with $1,454,318 in cash and $1,513,000 in CDs in the bank.
Is there any discussion or any additions or corrections?
Just one question. Robin, the payments from the pilots for the wind project, are they quarterly, monthly, annually? How do they come in?
They're annually, Doug.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the finance report as submitted.
I will move to accept as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is there anyone that's opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. Our first item of business under 3A is a request from Kelly's Garage for IDA assistance for a new warehouse building in Perry. I think this will require a public hearing. Perhaps Jim could give us a short synopsis of what the project looks like.
Sure. Kelly's Garage has had a long history in Perry and Wyoming County for over 134 years. It's interesting, Robin wrote up a summary, the company history's been, around a long time. They started out as a woodworking facility and then morphed into a kind of a welding service and then farm implements. And then, now he's doing custom and fabrication, customized feeder wagons and a variety of things. Over the years, the equipment has gotten much bigger, and subsequently he needs a bigger building in order to conduct his work. At one time, according to this history, there were 7 tractor dealers in Perry. Kelly's Garage is the sole remaining one now. So their plan is to put up a 16,000 square foot building. It's going to be a pre-engineered building. Capital investments projected to be $835,000. They currently employ 8 people. They expect to create 2 new jobs over the next 3 years. In addition to the project or the building being built to house fabrication and assembly and manufacturing, they're also contemplating hooking up with a company out of Minnesota for the wholesale distribution of dairy products as well. So that is something that's going to be planned for this building as well. We have let me just see if I can spin this around. So we have projected the following exemptions for a proposed project. Property tax exemptions over the term of a 10-year pilot would be $120,000. The sales tax estimated savings are $38,000. And so the total projected benefits are going to be in the neighborhood of $149,000. As you can see, that put us over the $100,000 threshold. And subsequently, we have to conduct a public hearing. So we have the application here. It's been filled out and is complete. I don't think there's many more details I can pull out here to help you with, other than to jump down and look at the employment numbers. They currently have 8 people, and at $400,000, that's an annual average salary of $50,000. So those are some good paying jobs in Perry, and he's planning on adding 2 more over the next 3 years. You can see a breakdown of the costs for the building, the site work, the engineering, a variety of those things. He is not borrowing any money on this project. He's going to be financing it himself 100%. So his request to the IDA board is strictly for sales tax exemption and the property tax exemption. The application has been certified, and I guess at this point I would stop and take any questions if there are any. But right today, what we are hoping is that the board would give us authorization to conduct a public hearing for this project.
Why would we not get authorization? Absolutely, Jim.
Was that a motion, Joe?
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Does anyone oppose? If not, the motion is carried. We'll move to 3B. This is a request from Hillcrest Industries in Attica. Also, we are looking or considering an authorization for a public hearing. And once again, I'll turn this over to Jim.
Yeah, the company is looking for a 10-year pilot for a warehouse construction project in which will hold their finished goods. Again, Robin put together kind of a company history and summary of this project. Hillcrest originally started as just an automotive facility for doing bodywork and things in Strikersville. They kind of outgrew that business and then morphed into doing more sandblasting, painting of heavy equipment, those sorts of things. They were doing that in Redsoft. Actually, when I discovered what they were doing there, I had some conversations with Dan Kirsch at the time back in '99. He said he had outgrown the facility, so I encouraged him to take a look at the former Westinghouse facility in Attica. And when it all came together, he decided he was going to buy that building and move his operation there. They originally started making blasting media from the coal slag from the Kodak plant in Rochester. With everything going away from coal, that was an industry that was not going to last long. So they quickly switched over to using recycled glass, and they put it through some extremely hot furnaces there over there in Attica that creates these very small round beads. These beads are then sold to various companies for making reflective paint, signs and markings and those sorts of things. The business has done very well. They had an incident, as you may all recall, back in 2017 when a large pile of recycled glass caught on fire. They worked with a lot with EPA and DEC to get that all cleaned up. There were some concessions made to the village for the disturbance they had caused that summer, and some fines were leveled as well. And all those things are behind them, and the company's done extremely well ever since. So what the company is projecting to do is build a warehouse on site. It's going to be a standalone building of 31,250 square feet. It's going to be pre-engineered steel building. They're doing a proposed capital investment of $900,000. They currently employ 26 people, which is a sizable employer in Attica, and they expect to create 4 new jobs over the next 3 years. The applicant on this project is Derek Kirsch, which is the son of Dan and Tina Kirsch, the original owners of the company. Derek is a very enterprising young man, just like his parents are. And if he says he's going to do something, it gets done. So quickly, I will just rotate the view on this estimated tax savings. So the pilot over the period of 10 years, we're projecting almost $260,000 worth of savings on the property taxes. The sales tax exemptions we're estimating to be in the neighborhood of $48,000 for an adjusted total estimated tax incentive package of $291,000. No, that didn't work. Bear with me, folks. Here's their completed application. As you can see, this is also going to be a project they're self-financing, so there's no request for a mortgage recording tax exemption. So it's just sales tax or real property. This is going to be a new building. Again, just for storage of primarily finished goods. Right now, he's storing a lot of this finished goods in other places in the county. And in fact, I think last I knew, they were storing stuff over at the former Arcade Dimension plant. I'm not sure if they're still using that or not, but they were at one time. So again, 26 jobs. Here's a breakdown of the cost of the project. Again, $900,000. The proposed incentives are there. The project application has been certified by Mr. Kirsch. And the Village of Attica has done their own seeker on the project. We have been counseled by Kevin to perform our own seeker process. And so the IDA has started the seeker process for this project. And that, Mr. Chairman, is the project application. I'd be happy to answer any questions about it. Again, what we're requesting today is just authorization for a public hearing. This is actually a project I have talked to the Kirsches about, probably going on 3 years now.
Maybe I'll ask council, we need 2 seekers?
So the seeker process for a project of this nature is one that can be done as a coordinated review or an uncoordinated review. It's an unlisted action, and it's not a type 1 action, so the agency would ordinarily in these situations, Chairman, do its own seeker. The process that was done here, we really can't link to because it's not a type 1 action. So we really, because we're not coordinating with the municipality on this at this point, we really have to do our own. And it's not a heavy lift in my view. We've done it many times this way. So that's the explanation for my comment.
Well, certainly the attitude around the village of Attica has changed dramatically since the 2017 problems. And I think that lawsuit that was brought was settled. It's history. All right, is there any further discussion or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to authorize a public hearing on this project. Do I have such a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second, Jim.
All right, is there anyone who opposes? All right, the motion is carried. Our next item is the Dream Lake Campground. We heard an extensive presentation on that in February. But I'll once again ask Jim to highlight anything we need to know in addition to what we learned there.
Yeah, let me quickly pull this one up. Again, we have a summary of the project. Everyone is very familiar with it. We went through it last month in terms of authorizing the public hearing. So I'll skip over a lot of it and just give some quick summaries here. Again, the project right here under project description is almost $1 million. They're doing 2 new bathhouses, 45 new campsites, a new pond, and they're working on probably an expansion of 12 additional acres of land to accommodate the growth. The company, the campground has outgrown their ability to service more clients. They have waiting lists. So this project will be a welcome addition to bring more revenue in for the business, but also help with visitors coming to Wyoming County to spend their money, which is always a good thing. They have 5 people currently. They're going to create 4 new jobs over the next 3 years. The application is complete. There was a formal seeker process that was done by the town of Warsaw, and a neg deck was issued for that. At the last meeting, as I indicated, we had needed authorization to do a public hearing. We did that public hearing. Myself and Robin were the only folks that were in attendance, and here's the minutes from the public hearing. So a nice, quaint little conversation between Robin and myself about the project. We both spoke highly of it. So, again, just to give you a quick summary, under item 3, you can see down there on the bottom of this page, those are the estimated incentives that are going to be available to this company. So without any comments, we closed the public hearing. Minutes were done, and we are now back to the board to kind of have the board consider a final decision on this.
And I think attached to the package was a proposed resolution, which is, I'm not going to read it because it's quite long. But
Yeah.
Kevin, I assume this covers everything we need to approve and go ahead with the project. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. The only comment I would make is that staff did a very nice job working with the company on substantiating the tourism destination finding that the board will have to make as part of this resolution. The site and the information provided indicated that they are going to attract a significant number of visitors. So a typical retail project an IDA can't induce, but this one it can induce because it meets that criteria based on the information. At least that's what we're asking the board to make a determination on as part of this resolution.
Are there any questions or any further discussion on this before we consider it?
No, I would just add, Mr. Chairman, that the complete full EAF is also attached to the resolution.
Mhm.
If I'm making everybody dizzy, I'm sorry, but
My only question, where is Stony Creek? Did you notice that from the ponds that flows west?
that's interesting because the Orangeville Wind Project is also known as Stony Creek Wind Project.
Right. I don't think it's the same thing, but that would be flowing toward the Galnock Swamp, I think, or into Crow Creek. I don't know which, but anyway, that's a local question. All right, is there any further discussion or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution drafted by council to approve the project. Do I have such a motion?
Would make the, oh, Joe, are you making the motion?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Becky.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to make that motion and approve it. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that then.
All right. All right, is there anyone who opposes? All right, the motion is carried. And we move now to the executive director's report, and you may go ahead, Jim.
All right, just some quick updates on other things that we're working on. I'm continuing to work with the developer from Rochester who wants to acquire the former Covenant Acres church camp off of Elbro Road in the town of Pike. They got the properties under contract. He's conducting his due diligence, but everything is looking very favorable at this time. They're in discussions with a local financing or banking institution about financing for the project. So that's all stepping in the right direction. They will be seeking IDA assistance to convert this church camp into a public campground. And then they will also be coming to the BAC for some financial help to work with the primary lender on this project. So that one's coming together pretty nicely.
Jim,
Yes.
is that camp operational now? Is that been continuously operated? I've been by it a number of times and it didn't look like much going on.
It's pretty secluded, so it's hard to see what's going on back there.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I've been
there's-
back there for events, but that was years ago. So I just wondered if it was still in operation or if
It was still operating up until the pandemic.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Good.
some of the issues we're working on, obviously, if you got a campground, you got to have Wi-Fi service. And about the closest Wi-Fi service we have is at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
So I hooked them up with Spectrum. They're talking about see if they can go cross country with the Wi-Fi from the fairgrounds instead of going down 39 and up Elbro Road with poles and all that other stuff that's going to be needed. So,
There's a simple pond or a small lake up there, right, Jim?
there is a nice lake there. Yeah. And there's over 132 acres of property there.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a beautiful spot.
It'll be quite successful.
Thanks.
Yep. I'm also working with a TPI over in Arcade. They're the aluminum casting operation on Route 98. They are making a decision to bring in-house their own machining operation. Typically, their components are shipped out and then machined by another company and then shipped back in. They wanted to bring all that stuff in-house. So they're looking at the purchasing machining equipment as well as some new robotics for pouring the aluminum casts. So we're trying to hook them up with some resources to help offset the cost of those items. Creative Food is still in the planning process for their proposed projects. Robin's been in discussion with them over that. We expect that to be an IDA application for help as well. Right now, they're up around 250 people. They're rapidly becoming one of our largest employers in the county, and they're looking for more people all the time. The other project I'm working on is the glamping facility that's being proposed in the village of Silver Springs, which is a parcel that's owned by the village themselves that needs to be rezoned. So that project is working on the zoning issue. And if it comes together, they're also looking at putting up a warehouse facility there as well. So there's certainly a need for more warehousing buildings here in the county since we have such a building shortage. IDA staff has been working with the Wyoming County Board of Supervisors to apply for a micro enterprise grant. As the board may remember, the BAC, I should say, gave us permission to apply for this grant about a year ago before the pandemic hit. Subsequently, the program shut down, but they have now reopened it. And so we are working with the county, who has to be the applicant for this grant. We're going to be asking for $300,000. And the intent of the program is to provide small micro grants to businesses in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $20,000. And it will be for businesses that are either agricultural business related and or recreational, tourism, hospitality types of businesses that have been severely impacted by the pandemic. So graciously, the county has a planning committee at their last meeting sent a resolution to the full board, which was approved for conducting a public hearing, which is one of the requirements for the grant program. If the grant is awarded, like we have done in the past, the county would recognize the BAC as a subrecipient and administrator of the grant program. So we're hoping we can get some money to help out some of our small businesses with that grant program. And thanks again to the county for offering to do that. And Becky always signs on the dotted line, so that's the important thing. Right? I'm also been working with the new owners of the real estate in and around Max Livery, and it used to be Max Restaurant over there on East Lake Road. The property's been purchased by two investment partners. They're looking at making some upgrades to the facility, looking at some financing more than anything else at this point. They've already picked out a name, and it's going to be called Krabby Bill's Boatyard. And Joe, I know you have this question on your mind. It does not look like Max Restaurant will be returning as a restaurant. Initial plans are having the developers convert that possibly into another lake house. So that project is underway. And then just a FYI, if you've been by the former Broder Machine Site building, you can see that JC Equipment or Cole Building Solutions has put up their building, and they got the walls up and the rafters up, and they're going right to town on the project. So it's nice to see a project that we're involved with start coming around like that. Some projects, the solar projects are still moving along. The one probably closest to coming into the IDA board would be Sun East View High Solar. That's in the town of Castile. That's going to be a 20 megawatt facility. They do have their application into us. They're working on getting some local approvals. They need to do the community host agreement and a variety of things before they come in formally to ask for help from the IDA board. Silver Lake Solar Project in Castile is still in the works. And then there's the one in Bennington and Sheldon, the large one that's still a work in progress. That is my report, Mr. Chairman. I do have one other item, and I'm going to pop something up here so we can talk about it. As the IDA board knows, in similar design to the part-time position that was held by Bill Daly, we've come to a realization here from a management and staffing standpoint that we need some additional manpower in terms of continuing on with a part-time economic development specialist. Some of the things, not necessarily that Bill was working on, but some of the things that I think are important for us as an entity to be doing to reach our economic development objectives and our strategies. Bill kind of ran on his own for a lot of things, but I think we want to get more of a focused thing on getting things in order, such as our strategic plan and a variety of things that are important for us to kind of have a path forward. So what I'm proposing to the board is currently the IDA has a contract with the Chamber for marketing services at an annual fee of $17,500, which coincidentally is the same price as their annual lease over here. Most of that 17.5 was for business marketing work that the Chamber was doing on our behalf. And it was being done exclusively by Scott Gardner. So what I am asking, if the board would consider bringing Scott Gardner on as a part-time IDA position, very similar to what Bill was doing. And he would be compensated at an annual salary of $12,500. And there would be $5,000 left for the Chamber to help still with our business marketing services. So the investment to the Chamber would remain the same as it is now. But it would, Mr. Gardner would also be reducing his compensation down from the Chamber by the equal amount of $12,500. But this new arrangement would give us a little bit more control and some horsepower, so to speak, for getting some additional things done that we as management and staff of the IDA would like to see done. And some of those things are on this proposed job duty list that you see on the shared screen. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions about that.
I think it's a win-win situation.
I have to agree, Judge. It's Scott's been doing a great job all along, and I just know what he's done for the county, you know, with our task force, our restart the county from the COVID. He's been phenomenal on that. And yeah, this is good.
We work very well together, and we partner on a lot of things every day.
Told Jim he'd have to run it through our HR department. He said, that's Robin. Does anybody have any thoughts on this or any objection to it?
I'm a firm believer in continuity. And I think given the fact that Scott has worked over there with Jim on many, many things, projects, he will do a great job, no question. He also, you'll recall, has a history in politics, having served as the chief of staff for Dan Burling in the Assembly for many years, I believe 10 or 12 years. So he knows the ins and outs of Albany, and that can only be helpful as far as gaining economic stimulus for Wyoming County from the state. So, and then in the form of cash. So I think Scott would be a great addition.
Those are very good points, Doug, because you know, when the stimulus dollars do get sorted out, there's going to be some significant dollars, I think, available for some of our local businesses. And we're going to need help in implementing some of those programs that are going to be rolling out of there.
And I know I've talked with Scott, and he still maintains some of his contacts in the state capitol. And that is very, very helpful when it comes to this kind of thing. And you just pointed out, as Jim, no one knows how this money's gonna come through, and you need to have somebody who can be dedicated to following the dollar.
Do you need a formal motion on this, or can you just go ahead and do this, Jim?
Well, we have an annual contract with the chamber that expires next month. So if I have authorization to bring him on as a part-time pupil, we will fix the timing of it so it falls right in line with the other contract expiring.
Is he covered by the state retirement plan?
He is not currently. He would be eligible for the state retirement with the IDA.
Okay. Any further discussion? I entertain a motion to approve the plan that was just described by Mr. Pearson, which can be spread in detail in the motion. Do I have such a motion?
I'd be happy to make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right. Is there anyone who opposes? If not, the motion is carried. All right.
I just want to, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say hello to Tom, make sure he's there, because it looks like his audio's been fixed.
It is, can you hear me?
Very, very faint.
Oh, wait, let me see if I can fix that. How about now? Is that any better?
There you go.
There we are.
Oh, well,
Thank you, Tom. I want to make sure
literally
we weren't
got the
being left out.
Yes, I apologize. I don't know what, anyways, being new, and I apologize for delaying the meeting, but can you give me a little background about Mr. Gardner? I mean, I should know him. I just don't. And just wanted to get a little background.
Yeah, as Doug
I'm
kind
not
of,
opposed, by the way. I'm not opposed. I'm just don't know anything about him.
as Doug kind of indicated, he was Dan Burling, Assemblyman Burling's chief of staff here in Wyoming County for how long did you say, Doug? 14 years?
At least 12 years, Jim.
Well,
Yeah, maybe 14. I don't
Okay.
remember for sure, but quite a while.
and he's a local guy. He's born and raised in Warsaw. In addition to, he moved directly from Assemblyman Burling's office into the chamber job, which he's been doing for probably the most since 2006 maybe? Is that right, Robin? No,
Yeah.
2013 maybe. Anyways.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
13, Jim.
yeah. But he's very engaged with a lot of things. He's on a lot of committees, very community oriented, very personable guy and hardworking, and I would say very intelligent.
He's
Great.
well-spoken
I
and
look
he's a
forward to
good
meeting him.
speaker.
Great. I look forward to meeting him. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other business?
No,
If not, the next meeting will be April 8th at 2:30, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a second.
I'll second it. Now that the microphone.
it's good to hear you have a voice.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
All right, give me a second, Mr. Chairman. I'll